Well, my name's Alan Porter, although my friends call me Paddy, because I joined the Royal Navy at 16, and that's what happens when you're Northern Irish. Basically, after 18 years in the Royal Navy as a nuclear engineer, I was also the best RN officer under training in 1984. I left and decided I wanted to work for myself and not take orders off anyone, so I set up my business, which is now the Will Centre, and been going over 25 years. And we specialise in wills, powers of attorney and probate. And then as part of the process I ended up buying a few extra properties. I bought a florist as a result of one of those, so I know a lovely florist called Flower Fair in Stoke Village, which is about 50 yards from the Will Centre in Stoke Village, and I've got a great team in there who sort that out for me. Thankfully I have no creative input. And what problem did Sekoya solve? Well, we didn't have any HR support. We had somebody who works in the company, Nikki, who's amazing and does my probate, who has HR experience. But we just felt we're looking to the future. My daughter's now, Emma's involved in the business, is going to be taking it on and running it in the next few years. We just felt a more formal HR support role was required. I do firmly believe in leveraging out tasks, so I leverage out my bookkeeping to Starbrooks. Obviously outsource my accounting to Deep Blue. I very strongly believe that you should use an expert for the role, and therefore having met you and been very impressed with your sort of demeanour and your professionalism, I think it was important to get the systems in place, because we do tend to live in a very litigious society these days, and certainly don't want to go down the route, God forbid, if we ever had a problem where we'd end up in a sort of an employment court. I think it was about 6 to 12 months ago. I mean, I first met Donna at another event. Nick Taylor from Borringdon invited me over to meet you at James Tolson's One Less Worry payroll. I think there was cakes involved, and that's where we first met, and we started talking. And then obviously I've met you quite a lot of times at networking events. I do firmly believe in personal relationships are very important, because that's what leads to the professional relationship. And certainly if you can build that personal relationship with somebody and get to know them a little bit better as a person, then I think that helps on the professional side. Well, we've put into place some changes to our HR side of things, with certain changes to contracts because of changing things in the law, sort of GDPR, etc. Formalising a lot more of the procedures that we had already, which were very informal, so that we can make sure in the future, if there is a problem, that we have the correct systems and the correct legalities in place to deal with it. It's been very beneficial. I know Nikki and Emma, who've been dealing with Sekoya, have been getting a lot of good advice and feeding that back to you for you to see if that's right. So that's really, really good. And I think it just gives confidence that pretty much everything we're doing is right, and we're not making it up as we go along, as I'm sure a lot of businesses do. Well, I certainly think any business, no matter what you offer, should look to outsource and leverage other professionals in that business as much as possible. I already mentioned accounting and bookkeeping, and certainly HR is one very, very, very important part of that. So I would absolutely recommend any business owner. The only way you can grow a business is you can't do everything. So use experts, use specialists in the field, and let them take on that responsibility. You know, the money you will pay employing experts will pay back in the long term. You know, the most expensive advice you ever get is free advice. Good advice is worth paying for, and it will pay back in the end.